Hi everyone, can you hear me okay? I'm just checking the microphone here. Hold on. Should be okay, right? But let me just confirm. Let me just quickly. Make sure that everything is okay. Perfect. All right, guys. It's been such a long time since we did this last time, and I'm excited to talk to you. Wait. Okay, I'm gonna have a little window with the stream here and a little window with Mahi's chat. So Mahi, if anything is going on, you can just text me. I see your chat over here. And as I was saying, it's been such a long time since we last did this, and it's exciting to I don't know, maybe we should again get into the habit of doing this more regularly. And again, over the past few months, maybe it makes sense to do this regularly whenever there is a new conversation, new development, new questions arising. But so far, as I've seen from the spreadsheet with your questions, all the questions are pretty much the same. There were a few ones which I will definitely address. But yeah, let's get started. And thank you for taking the time to watch this. Hey, so I wanted, first thing first, of course, I wanted to thank everyone for your ongoing support. There's a lot of people that write me over email, Telegram, and stuff like that, with words of support. Thank you to our partners who again continue supporting us over the course of years at this point. And that's the stuff that keeps us going, right? The stuff that motivates us to continue working, continue in our mission to really help people to be free from the oppression of intermediaries. And as you know, that's what we're working on. That's what we started working on in 2017, 2018. That's our goal, that's our mission, and we continue working on that. Again, because we see that there are people out there that need help with this, and that's what gives us a sense of gratification, I guess, right? That's why we're here. That's our mission. The next thing I wanted to talk about, or rather the first thing, is the progress that we've made over the past few months or so. And I wanted to say special thanks to Jose, who is the main person on the protocol side right now. And if you are not sort of familiar with what's going on, I encourage you to go to blog.onetree.com and just look up all the information, all the technical information that we posted, I would say a week ago or so, about the progress that we've made in terms of protocol design, in terms of actual, not just design, but actual implementation of it in the code. I think we've had a tremendous amount of progress. And again, do read up on the blog post. There's a lot of technical details about what's been done, and of course, it's all supported by the actual code published in GitHub and stuff like that. And there were questions about. I saw a question that was talking about something like. And it's a quote, current project or initiative that directly relies on the native token. And that's that's exactly, again, go on GitHub, go on our blog, and you will see the progress towards that. As you know, before we posted and talked about many times about token utility and why we need a token within this platform. It's directly related to the work that's being done right now. Obviously, there will be the next step where we will be onboarding companies onto this new platform protocol. This is the new iteration of our technological prowess, right? So we will be working on that, of course. And I just wanted to mention that also, I said already that Kostya has done an amazing job. Kostya is from Ukraine, as you may or may not know, and we have worked together for a long time now. And again, Kostya, thank you so much, and thank you for being such a great, really a monster of a programmer and such a good friend, and wish you really well. I wanted to talk about the use case. Mahi, have we published, or rather, what is the link to the most detailed description of the token use case? Last year we were talking about it a lot, and surely there's a blog post where it's described. I remember all the schematics that we've done. If you could look it up, and maybe we could publish it a little bit later, maybe in the comments under this video or on Discord or whatever it is again. So because people are asking about that token use case. And I also wanted to share with you, I was doing a little bit of research on what kind of other token use cases are out there. I literally went on CoinMarketCap and researched a few other websites. And it's directly related to token use case and token price, because a lot of people are concerned about token price, which, again, we said it so many times, we're legally obligated to work on the actual protocol, the actual implementation, because again, in our white paper and the legal entity that we formed operates on this assumption, or rather on this mission of us fixing the travel industry, creating the decentralized marketplace, removing intermediaries, all of that. That's our mission. And again, if you're not quite familiar with it, go on our website, read our white paper, and familiarize yourself with what we actually set out to do all these years ago, right? And many times we have these conversations of, hey, let's publish the token on some sort of exchange, and let's do all sorts of other crazy stuff to drive the token price up. And every time we're above this by saying, we actually need to have users, we need to have demand for the token, and that's what's going to create value, which again, creating that value, we cannot promise that, hey, the token price is going to go up or anything like that, because if we do that, if we start talking about token price or try to increase the token price sort of artificially, we're going to be a security. And you know what happens with companies whose tokens are securities. That's governments are cracking down on them left and right now, both in the United States and other parts of the world as well. So the token price will improve when there is adoption of our system, which again, Live Token is an integral part of it. Mahi's telling me that she will be sharing the link on Discord, perhaps, or something. So let's see. the link about the token use case. So one of the main concerns as of today that we have, not everything is quite rosy as I would have expected or that I hoped. There are two concerns. There are two problems that I see in the broad Ethereum community, really. Well, maybe more problems. So let's start talking about them one by one. So first of all, I did, as I was saying, I did research on the tokens on CoinMarketCap. And again, you can do that exercise yourself. If you go on that website, you have a list of tokens that sort of have a lot of volume, or you can range them in a variety of different ways. And I wouldn't say that surprised me, but the only tokens that have maybe even gained some value, but at least held some value from the inception, or of course in the case of Bitcoin or Ethereum, there was tremendous growth. But the only tokens that are on that list right now that have a use case are actual blockchain tokens, right? So Ethereum, why do you need Ethereum? You need it to pay for calculations on the Ethereum virtual machine, right? So that token has value. Bitcoin, sort of the same. In order to send Bitcoin somewhere, which is the main utility of the Bitcoin network today, right? You have to spend a tiny little bit of Bitcoin to do that. So a lot of people are using those networks, those systems, and that's why that token has value. And there's a number of other tokens. Some of them are layer 1, some of them are layer 2. There is something like Optimism, Arbitrum, or a few others, Tron perhaps a few. And with a couple of exceptions maybe, which I don't even remember from the top of my head, because the major trend, the main trend here is that the only tokens that have value are blockchain native tokens, right? And look at all the other tokens that are out there, maybe top 30 or something like that. Look how much value that they've lost over the past few years, right? So pretty much all of them, right, lost 90 to 95% of token value. Again, with the exception of native blockchain tokens, which is, again, I didn't expect, I guess, but I was not surprised that that is the case, because and what I was looking for really on our website is a token that would have a clear utility, clear value, and of course, again, what are some of the examples of that? Today in the blockchain space, it's blockchain native tokens, then there's a governance token, and maybe there is a rare exception, something like Maker DAO in the case of XDAT or something like that, some stable coins, right, where there are interesting sort of game theoretical mechanics there that are designed to support the value of that token. But other than that, I couldn't find any other token that would have clear utility, that would have clear growth and stuff like that. And so that is an interesting sort of problem for the whole space to think about, I would say, right? So we would love, of course, to see demand for Lyft token in the future, and we have a use case, but the thing is that we need to work on that use case. So what I mean by that, so we have ideas, we have implementations of those ideas in the code, but what we need to do is we actually need to give that token into the hands of travelers, travel companies, et cetera, right? So, and to see how they use them and to fix those things accordingly, because we can't just give people sort of what we call a spherical horse in the vacuum, right? So very, very theoretical thing that we've thought out, we've designed, right, and then give it to people and just expect that that's going to work. Well, that's not how it works. That's not how you develop a product, right? You actually give it to the user, and you see how they actually use it, and you change it accordingly to increase its utility. And that's what that's what we want to do. And we're working very hard on that. And again and again and again, we're hitting this barrier, which but I talk to people from the hotel industry all the time, from airline industry. And one of the biggest problems, and I sort of blame the broader Ethereum community again, that they don't even have wallets, right? Those people. So, and we said multiple times in conversations like this and in our videos, in our blogs, that part of our mission is education, and we continue doing that. We continue talking to people and explaining to them what it means to be on blockchain, what blockchains are, what a wallet is. And by the way, if you need a one-liner, if you're talking to someone about it, what is blockchain? What is the difference between, I don't know, money on Ethereum or Bitcoin and US dollars, or what does it mean? What are blockchains for? The one-liner is, it's all about ownership, real ownership of whatever you're talking about at that point, right? If it's in case of money, if you have money in the bank, it's not your money. And again, look into legislation of your specific country rules and about banks. But actually, what you get in return is just a promise from the bank to give you back the money. So they actually control and own the money, and there are multiple cases that I hear from my friends all over the place. Sometimes banks run away with your money. That's what keeps happening in South America, in the Middle East and stuff like that. And sometimes people here in Europe, for whatever reason, their accounts are red flagged and they don't have access to their money. So in terms of blockchain, it's all about data ownership, right? And money is data. Money is just a number in the database, right? So if you own your Bitcoins, no one can take them away from you, right? In the case of travel, of course, when you have your hotel, when you have your apartment on Airbnb or hotel on Booking.com, you are actually, that data that you created, that you put up on that platform, that does not belong to you really, because those platforms can shut you down and can deplatform you. And again, that's the system that we're trying to build here, a system where that is completely decentralized, where there's no single intermediary that creates all sorts of barriers and can do all sorts of crazy things just because they can, right? So, hey, that was not a one-liner. So one-liner is, it's all about really owning your assets, your data. It could be user data, it could be money, it could be whatever it is, right? And that's why we talk about tokenization. Like, what does it mean to tokenize certain things? At least to me, right? So again, it's the ownership of those tokens. If I have, and again, I guess a couple of days ago, I was thinking about that use case, tokenizing real estate or something. It's not, I didn't come up with that, of course. But let's say you tokenize real estate, tokenize ownership of a certain piece of real estate, and you have those tokens, no one can take them away from you. You just own them completely. And so we continue with our education, and I talk with people from the Ethereum community all the time. And in fact, I'm going to be speaking in September, beginning of September, in Berlin at dapcon.io. It's a conference organized by people from Gnosis. And that's basically the conversation. What I want to present there is a conversation that I'm having with people from the Ethereum community all the time, which I tell them there are two major problems that we have on our hands right now. So one is, well, that's something I already mentioned, that people do not have wallets. And I'm not talking about hotel people, airline people, just in general. I don't see an explosive growth of people creating wallets. Maybe there are statistics on the internet that you could find, which says, hey, there is, I don't know, whatever the numbers differ all the time, but there is a tremendous growth in numbers, in the number of wallets that's been created. I fail to see that. Very few of my friends, and I've been working on this project for years right now, and they know what I'm doing, but they still don't understand. They still don't have a wallet. So the two problems that I'm talking about, and I will talk about in September, are, first of all, it's exceptionally hard to have and maintain a crypto wallet. It's very, very hard, And you, probably the listeners of this, you probably know the feeling where, you're trying to send a transaction, or trying to do something, or create a new wallet, or, maybe you wake up in the middle of the night thinking, whether you maybe forgot to back up the seed phrase of one of your wallets or something like that. Like, it's very stressful. It's not a nice experience, even for people who have been doing this for quite some time, for a long time. And please do comment below if you, I don't know, maybe share your story or your stress of operating a blockchain wallet. It's not easy. It's quite stressful. And again, I know people who are very smart. They are smart contract developers or whatever, right? And they lost their money somehow. They've been hacked. They've been, and their money just went out to some crazy address somewhere. So it's not easy. So there's one problem, right? So user experience, and again, in the blockchain space, we'll call it user experience. Just the user experience of having a wallet is not good. It's not nice. But I'm arguing, even if it was, right? If it was very easy, let's say we create or we have a wallet that is very easy to operate, maybe it's some sort of social recovery wallet or something like that, right? And of course, I'm not talking about what's called custodial wallets, right? Because if someone else is operating your private keys for you, that's not your private keys, not your coins. We could forget blockchains altogether with custodial wallets. That just makes absolutely no sense, right? Someone else holds your private keys for you, and they create what in the hacker community would talk about as a honeypot, right? Lots of private keys, and that's why exchanges get hacked all the time. So it doesn't work. If someone controls private keys for you, it makes absolutely no sense. So let's say we have a wallet, a non-custodial wallet, that is, no one else has access to your private key. We have a wallet that works, it's easy to operate, it's not stressful. And imagine you come to a person on the street and you tell them, like, hey, here's a cool crypto wallet. Like, it's so easy to operate with it, just create one. And that's the second problem, that for most people, there's absolutely no reason to create a crypto wallet. There are, of course, use cases, again, in countries with hyperinflation or crazy inflation, countries like Argentina. And of course, it makes sense for them, for those people to, convert their local currency into the stable coin or into another cryptocurrency or something like that, right? But let's say here in Europe, let's say in the United States or something like that, you walk up to a person on the street, and again, I encourage you to do that, and feel free to call up your local hotel. Maybe you know some people in hospitality, and talk to them about this, right? Ask them whether they would like to create a crypto wallet. And again, the second problem is that they have absolutely no reason to do that, because there are no other use cases on the blockchain right now. But some sort of fringe use cases, maybe fringe, does it have a bad connotation? I don't think so, but very, very specific use cases. And I have, tremendous amount of respect for some of my friends who work on projects like Kliros, right, which they created a decentralized justice platform. Very interesting. Would a person on the street would like to, sort of out of the blue, to participate in a platform like that? I don't think so. There are no other use cases on blockchain right now, with a few exceptions. Again, with a few fringe exceptions, but to gamble, right? So the main use case right now, whether you use DeFi, whether you buy Ether or Bitcoin or some other cryptocurrencies, it's gambling, right? Because basically you don't know where the price of those tokens is going to go, and you have no way of controlling it. And so what you're doing basically is gambling. I call it gambling. DeFi, sort of the same, right? Because, well, it's an exercise for you to think about why DeFi is basically gambling. And so those two problems we have to address. And again, to people from the Ethereum community, I say that all the time, with LendingTree, you have a real use case, there's a real utility of this protocol, this marketplace that we are working on, right? We describe it in so many blog posts and videos and everything that I'm not going to repeat myself here. There's a real utility. If you walk to a person on the street and you ask them, hey, would you like to buy travel, which is going to be, 10, 20, maybe 30% cheaper, and you would have all sorts of other perks, and you say the same to people from the hospitality space, from the airline space, there is a real use case. But again, they don't have wallets, and they are afraid, rightfully so, to operate one. And it's another question, of course, how on the corporate level, people manage those things. So those two problems I'm going to talk about in September. Please come to Berlin, buy a ticket to dapcoin.io, and we'll have a productive conversation about how we can improve not just travel space, but blockchain space in general. Let me see, I have a few other notes here. Yeah, there are a few. I think the most interesting question, and the right question that is to me here, is what are the lessons that you've learned from the past mistakes? And I think that question is really too deep to try to come up with all the mistakes that we've done and the lessons that we've learned. But that's one of the things that we, I think, continued doing for years. We just kept coming at people with, I'm gonna say arrogance even, right? So because at least I definitely had that. I remember when we were starting in 2017, I don't know what it is. Is it the young age sort of, or the arrogance of a techie person, or like the arrogance of an engineer that sees some sort of deficiency and he knows how to fix it, but at the same time his solution is just too alien, I guess, for most people, and that's how I feel. That was my realization in the past few months for sure, because I remember very vividly this conversation that I had with one of the airline executives from this Japanese airline, NA Air, and I kept telling him, like, hey, we are creating this system right now, and look, it's a network, it's based on blockchain, you own all the data and stuff like that, and it's going to be amazing. And he kept asking me, very politely, as Japanese people are, hey, yeah, this is great, this is amazing, but how do I use it in the next 6 months? How do I benefit from this? And I kept explaining to him, and I got somewhat frustrated because it seemed to me that he doesn't understand what I'm trying to explain to him. I'm saying, hey, this is a network technology. The moment when you can start benefiting from this is when many other companies are going to join this network. There are all these network effects and stuff. And that's when you're going to reap the benefits. But you have to start now, because, hey, chicken and the egg problem. And he kept saying, oh, that is very nice, but how would my company benefit from this technology in the next 6 months or so? So that's what I realized, that we really have to listen to our customers, to our clients, to our partners. And for a long time, we thought like, hey, we're just going to deliver it, we're just going to put it out there, and people will start using it. And again, we underestimated, again, I guess, the blockchain sort of industry in general, because by this time, by 2023, definitely in 2017, I thought, hey, this is the moment, right? Because this is amazing. The crypto space will grow exponentially, and a lot of people are going to realize very soon that, hey, that's the way to do a lot of things. Definitely, related to money and money transfers and stuff like that. But again, we're not quite there just yet. There is a lot of progress for sure, but we're not there just quite yet. Unfortunately. But let's move things together. Let's work on pushing the industry forward. So that's one of the greatest questions actually I received this time around. And sort of last minute, people, I don't even know where, but Maki was sending me these questions. A couple of people, and I think I know who those people are. Pablo, hi, how's it going? We're asking, why just not merge with Camino, Lyft, or Tree, or whatever it is, something like that. Let me look it up. And to those people, I would say, to people who were asking that, I don't think you understand what Camino is, and I don't think you understand what Tree is. Tree, in the very beginning, we never wanted to build a new blockchain, right? And surely we didn't want to just clone an existing blockchain, put our name onto it, and say we are, and put some more limitations on it, and just call it a Lightning Tree blockchain or anything like that. We could have done that, but I just don't see the use of that, right? I don't see, we've used a few other systems before. We definitely experimented with Ethereum, with Gnosis, which is still going pretty strong. But of course, about our plans, because I talked about it before, about building our own layer 3, but for a few specific reasons, right? And again, I described it in a blog post before. As well, why we need a layer 3 solution, not even a layer 2. Again, why? Layer 1, why do you need a layer 1? You need layer 1 for security, right? You don't want to compromise security. And that's what Ethereum provides in the Ethereum space. And I talked about Gnosis with founders of Gnosis, with a few other people, actual creators of Gnosis, because as you know, it was called XDAG chain before, and it's a cool idea in terms of Gnosis, of course, to have a blockchain based on a stable points where the currency that you spend is a stable coin. Super cool idea. But we discussed at length, how that chain will run into all the same problems that Ethereum ran into a few years ago when they had a massive increase in users and the transactions were slow, the transactions were expensive. Of course, it's happening today. It keeps happening today because Ethereum is probably one of the busiest networks out there, and that's why you need layer 2. Layer 2, you need to scale things, right? And so layer 1 for security, layer 2 for scalability. And again, there's a number of implementations. I'm not going to talk about specifics of different layer 2, but why do you need layer 3? And layer 3 you need for unique, specific functionality that you wouldn't expect from layer 1 or layer 2. And again, we have a whole blog post talking about layer 3. And so, answer to the question of why just not merge with Camino is it's not compatible. Camino is a layer 1 solution. We have already used a number of layer 1 networks. Right now we don't see a concrete use case for Camino specifically, but we keep an eye on what they're doing. It's an interesting project, and definitely there's a lot of buy-in from the industry. We are still yet to see any concrete sort of use cases that will be available there that cannot be available anywhere else. And and at the same time, the smart contracts that we keep posting, the software that we keep posting in our GitHub and we keep describing in our blogs, it could run on Camino theoretically, but the thing is it already runs. Our software already has a use case, which again I mentioned multiple times before. The org ID system is used right now by a few big companies. By no means there is a huge, what I'm going to say, it's not growing in an explosive way, the usage of the org ID system by these companies that we have connected a couple of years ago, right? But there is an actual use, again, for the org ID as a decentralized, as a self-sovereign identity system for companies. There is an actual use for that, and we're still waiting for other blockchain projects to sort of show an actual growth, actual use in the travel space. But yeah, Camino guys, you have my support. It's a great experiment, and when we keep an eye on it. I wish we talked more, and feel free to reach out to sort of learn from our mistakes if you would like that. We're happy to help. That's a bit about it for today. I don't have any other questions in my notebook over here, and thank you guys for coming. I don't know, Maki, if there are any other questions that sort of appeared in the chat or somewhere else, in Discord, that I could answer. Well, again, if those questions keep coming, let's we'll answer them in a timely manner. But hey, up and to the right, Winding Tree is going strong. Hopefully, I don't know, let's say in a month or so when we meet again, sort of face to face or face to camera. Again, we'll have a few more amazing news to share, which, again, we're working some things on many things, I would say. And I'll be happy to give you guys an update about how we're doing. Thank you so much for coming, and have a great day, everyone. Cheers.